lives here.
Where love
Lives here.
When life gets you down, you can't see the future. When it all seems too much for you to handle, there are many here who together.
Unconditionally,
We pray together,
and the hurt that you feel
will be set free. We breathe it in together, we'll hold you up with praise. You know that
love lives here.
and you and me.
Love lives here.
My soul breaks free. I'm so excited to be united with you. Where
Love lives here.
where
Love lives here.
again, here we go.
Love lives here.
And you and me.
Love lives here.
My soul breaks free. I'm so excited to be united with you. Where
Love lives here.
where
Love lives here. Love lives here.
where
Love lives here.
Good morning.
Miahwen, Neto Reverend Jeffrey Ryan. We here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living acknowledge that we gather on the ancestral lands of the Kauai, Gabrielino Tongva, Kizh, and Luiseño peoples. We commit to live in right relations, to love our neighbors, to seek justice and loving kindness, and to walk humbly upon this land. We recognize our oneness so that we may decolonize our minds and set each other free from the pain of racism and violence, to live better as God intended, in harmony with nature and with one another. So good morning. Welcome to Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, where love lives here. Yes, good morning, good morning. And for those of you joining us online this morning, good morning to you as well. Good morning, Mom. Good morning, Pat. Good morning, John and Lupe Marie. Aloha kakahiaka to the Wilsons in Hawaii. Good morning, good morning, good morning to one and all. So great to have all of you here.
Sorry.
You're on
It's
my
like-
TV and you're on
Yeah, we're all over multimedia today. So it's great to have all of you here. I want to send a great big shout out and thank you to soon-to-be Reverend Sanja Prince for being with us last week and delivering the message last week, as well as thank you to practitioner Dinah Williams for being in the host duties while I had the Sunday off.
Yay.
For the first time, and it's been a while. So it was nice to have that Sunday off. So I thank one and all. And good morning to Maria Sneed joining us online this morning as well. So we have a wonderful morning in store for you as always. So it is great to see all of you joining us here in the sanctuary and joining us online. Don't forget to check in on Facebook. Say hi, let everybody know that you're here. Use the hashtags WeAreCSL and hashtag #LoveLivesHere. All righty, here we go. Let's welcome to the temple. If you want to stand and dance, I know the song says sit, but I invite you to stand. Let's move and groove here for a minute. Get the energy flowing.
Welcome to the temple. Welcome to the sanctuary. You don't have to worry, just come on in. Welcome to the presence. Welcome to the family. You know you don't have to hesitate. Just come on in. Come on in and sit down. I saw you peeking around the window. I bet you're wondering just what's going on. So quit your sneaking around. This is where you belong. So open up the doors now. Welcome to the temple. Welcome to the sanctuary. You don't have to worry, just come on in. Welcome to the presence. Welcome to the family. You know you don't have to hesitate. Just come on in. Come on in and sit down. Take a job now.
Did you notice all the love around you? And Did you hear all the voices raising song? I hope you get yourself dancing and singing along. So let your body move now. Welcome to the temple. Welcome to the sanctuary. You don't have to worry, just come on in. Welcome to the present. Welcome to the family. You know you don't have to hesitate. Just come on in. Come on in and sit down
To the beat now.
Welcome, welcome, come on in. 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 Welcome, welcome, yeah, yeah.
Welcome to the temple. Yeah, yeah.
Come on in and sit
Down.
Sit yourself down.
Peace, love in me. Peace, love in me. Here in the stillness of this quiet hour, sweet words of wisdom fill my ears. Your words like water keep my soul sustained. Let them rain, let them rain. Peace, love in me.
I hold your presence here inside of me. I rest in knowing you are here. Brighter than 1,000 stars across the sky. How you shine, how you shine. Peace, love in me. Peace, love
Good morning. I am Ed Ryan, one of your licensed spiritual practitioners here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. Practitioner Jeannie Kataoka and I will be available after service for a brief moment of prayer in the prayer room located in the lobby. Please don't leave here this morning with anything on your heart. We would love to pray with you, and we know that prayer absolutely works. So please join me in consciousness as we turn within for this morning's invocation. So I invite you to close your eyes if you're comfortable in doing so, and let's take in a deep breath together. And just let it out as we recognize the truth of who we are, that there is only one present here today, one mind, one eternal spirit, one divine love that we call God. I know that God is all there is. It is that peace that passes all understanding. It is the infinite possibility of the boundless universe. It is complete and total freedom, and it is joy and harmony, and it is divine right action. And I know that divine right action is working right here and right now in and as my life, for I am one with God and one with that love, that peace, that joy, that possibility and freedom. And just as I am one with God, I know that everyone present here is one with this eternal creator, with this loving spirit, with this infinite presence. And in knowing that truth, I know that we come together today to simply be present with God, for it is a truth of who we are. And as we focus our attention on God in each and every day of our lives, in each and every aspect of our lives, I know that life unfolds with divine synchronicity and with grace and ease. For as we know, what we focus on appreciates and grows within our lives. And so as we focus our attention and keep our mind stayed on God, our awareness of God grows and grows and grows until we can see God in every moment, in every detail. See God in the faces looking back at us. See God in nature. See God in every act of creation. Everywhere present is God. And as we stay focused on God, I know that our lives unfold with the beauty, with the grace of God. We simply fall into that rhythm of spirit, knowing that all is working for the highest and best good. All is working in divine harmony, with perfect balance, with perfect grace, and under perfection. And so I know that as we continue to focus and keep our mind stayed on spirit, our lives grow in love, our lives grow in peace, in freedom, and infinite possibility. I know and accept that truth for us here and now, and I give great thanks for that truth. I give great thanks for the way it unfolds in our lives, moving forward and in this very moment. And so with the gratitude in my heart, I simply let go and let God. And together we say, and so it is.
I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Walking and talking with my mind stayed
Thank you, Jabel. Thank you, Jeff, Manny, Max. Great to have all of you with us this morning. Good to see you. Thank you. Thank you. And so let's see here. Good morning, Rosemarie from Albuquerque. Awesome. Great to have you with us this morning. Good morning, Amber. Great to have you here. No, we're missing you in the sanctuary, but we know that you are safe at home. So we love you and we see you, and we are absolutely knowing absolute perfection for you. And Dr. Naima is joining us this morning. Good morning, Dr. Naima. And I see Cisco and Susan. Who else? All right, I think I got everybody. Another Amber. It's kind of like romper room. And I see Mary Jane and I see Joe. And yeah, no, but it's awesome. I love it. So good morning, everybody. Great to have all of you with us online. Good morning, everybody. So, all right. So let us begin with our focus statement this morning, shall we? Yeah? Okay. All right. Let's focus. Here we go. We embolden people to live their highest potential through the transformative power of love. Yes, we do. All right. So here at Centers for Spiritual Living Worldwide, we are working with a theme this year of timeless wisdom, evolutionary vision. And this month, we are talking about being pulled by vision, being pulled by the vision itself. And I think you already know the talk title. You've heard Ed say it multiple times. You've heard Jabel and everybody sing it multiple times. We're talking about stayed. Stayed. Not spade. That's a totally different topic. Stayed. All right? Keeping our mind stayed on spirit. So, beloveds, when we are talking about visioning, when we are talking about the vision, when we have the high idea, we catch that high idea for our lives, and we are open and we are receptive to it, and we start doing the work that we are called to do. And what is the work that we are called to do? We are called to embrace. We are called to release those things that no longer serve us. We are called to embrace those things that bring us into greater alignment with Spirit, bring us into greater alignment with the high idea. We are invited to embody that truth that we know to be, that high idea. We are to embody, we are to know that we know that we know so completely. This is what embody means, that we are to embody something so completely that it takes form as us, through us. That's what we are called to embody. So when we are opening up to the high idea and we ask those questions in the visioning process, the visioning practice, what am I called to release? Spirit or higher self or your intuition, whatever you choose to call it, will reveal that which we are called to release, that which we are called to let go of, that which has been perhaps standing in our way, or perhaps that we've even put in our own way. And then we are called to embrace, remember, opening our arms and welcoming something in, and then called to embody, to know that we know that we know. To know that we know that we know. Okay? So it's not just an intellectual knowledge. It's not just a heart-feeling knowledge. It's a full embodiment that's symbolized by that gut knowledge, that internal knowledge. And so when we've brought that knowledge, that understanding, and that awareness to this level of our understanding, to the gut level of our understanding, then what we've done is we've actually created form. We're demonstrating that which we've been called to embody. And in so doing, we are bringing ourselves into alignment with the high idea, into alignment with Spirit's highest idea of itself as our lives. Yeah? Allison's like, well, this is a recap of yesterday. Thank you. So she's in the visioning class with us. And then when we are asked, what must we become? What must I become? Yes, we must become more open. We must become more willing. We must become those things, those attributes. But really what it is it's what must we be? What divine quality, what quality of the divine must we be Must we inhabit? Must we internalize? Must we manifest? Must we be the expression of, that we can then come to the vision? Remember, we don't make the vision happen. We're not pulling the vision to us. The title of the month, the theme of the month, is Pulled by Vision. We are pulled to the vision. We come to the vision. So when we already are that which we already are, which is the divine made manifest, when we recognize and we are in alignment with that which we already are, guess what happens? We come to the vision and we experience the highest idea for our life without having to effort, without having to make it happen. Because the work that we're doing is actually the spiritual work of the release, the embrace, the embody, and the become. I don't need to manifest the vision already is. I don't need to effort to try and become the senior minister of Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. I don't need to effort to go and search for a window with trees outside the sanctuary and go, oh, that's the place I'm supposed to go. No, we've talked about it before. I've shared it with you before. I was brought here because the vision already was. You already were. That already was. And as I brought myself into alignment with release and embrace and embody, and as all of you brought yourselves into alignment with release, embrace, and embody, we came together 3.5 years ago now. Whoa, right? We came together. It's the way that it works. But what frequently will happen is we forget, good morning, Cisco, and good morning, Frank. What we forget is sometimes we forget to keep our mind, our consciousness, not just this mind, but this mind and this mind. We forget to keep our mind stayed where? On spirit. We forget to keep our mind stayed on spirit. And when we forget to keep our mind stayed on spirit, life has a way of getting in the way. Right? Life has a way of like, oh, okay, you're not paying attention. I'm going to help you pay attention. Right? Sometimes it's the feather, tickle, tickle. Sometimes it's the 2x4. Sometimes it's the brick wall. Right? But it has a way of getting our attention and reminding us, bringing us back to, oh, right. Right. I need to be paying attention here. I need to be keeping my mind stayed on spirit. You see, when we were talking about committing to the vision a couple weeks ago, is your commitment greater than your resistance? We were talking about that. The commitment that we're making is a commitment to ourselves, a commitment to being in alignment with, our commitment to doing our work, to be in alignment with the high idea. We're not committing to make the idea work. We're not committing to the actual vision itself, because the vision itself continues to evolve. The vision itself continues to grow. The vision itself continues to expand. It continues to change. The commitment that we're making when we make that commitment is we're making a commitment to our personal transformation. We're making a commitment to our change. And how do we do that? By keeping our mind stayed where? On spirit. Not stayed on the goal, right? Not stayed on some external goal. We keep our mind stayed on spirit. As Sanja mentioned last week, right? Matthew 6:33, with the kingdom of God. Seek ye first the kingdom, not the kingdom. Seek ye first the kingdom, the relationship, the communion with the divine, and then everything is added. So we seek first the kingdom, the relationship with the divine, as the divine, then everything is added unto us from there, right? So the same thing here. That's another way of saying, keep your mind stayed on spirit. Everything's already given. Everything's already provided. When we forget to keep our mind stayed on spirit, it feels like it's not. It feels like it's lack. It feels like it's limitation. It feels like it's obstacles. It feels like it's hard. But when we return to practice, when we return to our spiritual practice in the morning, meditation, spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer, chanting the way we did this morning, when we return to study, sacred reading, when we return to the practice of conscious contributions, when we return to our spiritual practices, these spiritual practices remind us to keep our mind on spirit. They serve as reminders to keep our mind there. They serve as opportunities to commune, to be in alignment with the divine, as the divine. So earlier this week, it was so exciting. I had this opportunity to meet with, and actually a panel, this wonderful woman. Her name is Lupita, and she is 81 years young. And she just became what is now called in our Latin America region, spiritual director, the equivalent of the North American reverend or minister. In certain countries in Latin America, we're not allowed to have churches, right? And the concept of God is very structured, and church is a state type of thing rather than, freedom of religion like we experience here in the US, that there are structures, and so we're not allowed necessarily to have a church, right? And so our leaders in those communities therefore can't be called ministers, right? Because it's going against some kind of laws or rules or cultural norms. So anyway, on Thursday, I had this beautiful opportunity to sit on 4 panels for the very first group of equivalent to ministers graduating from the School of Spiritual Leadership Latin America in Mexico City, is where the School of Spiritual Leadership is. It was amazing. These folks are incredible, increíble. And so Lupita was the last person of the day. And she shows up at just this bright light. And so we are going through the paneling and we're asking her, so Lupita, what is your vision for your ministry? What's the high idea? What's next for you? And she said, well, I've already created my center. I've already created the teaching chapter. 16 years ago, I created the teaching chapter. She's a practitioner emeritus, meaning that she's been a practitioner for more than 20 years. 16 years ago, I created this teaching chapter. And we, along with Dr. Pina, who is in Mexico City, support a lot of the online education around Latin America. At 81, been doing Zoom for years, right? Teaching online for years. And she goes, this is what we've been doing. I'm like, wow, that's fantastic. And she goes, and I've got 4 really strong people at our center that are now going to take that over because I'm on to my next greatest adventure. And one of those individuals was graduating with her and was paneling with her, and I had him in a panel earlier that day. Amazing individual as well. But at any rate, so we asked Lupita, what is your next great adventure? And she goes, oh, well, my daughter and I have created a foundation, and we have bought a large property where there's this species of endangered bees that are actually stingerless. I'm like, oh, my kind of bee. They're an endangered species of bees that only feed on medicinal plants, and they produce a medicinal honey, and they're endangered. And so what we've done is we've created this foundation and we've bought this place to help protect this endangered species, because of what they're doing and how they are creating, that one, they help populate, or they help pollinate, not populate, they help pollinate the medicinal plants. And two, their honey also has medicinal properties. And we're like, wow, that's really cool. And then she goes to say, and we're teaching science of mind principles to everybody who works in the foundation, to everybody who's working with the bees, to help them experience and uplift. And what do we do here? Embolden people to live their highest potential through the transformative power of love. That she is working actively with all of these folks to help embolden them to be able to live their highest potential through this transformative power of love. And so this is what she's doing now at 81, right? I was like, wow, Lupita, this is just amazing, because when you look at that, we envision a world that works for all. That's the high idea. That's the high vision of Centers for Spiritual Living. We envision a world that works for all. And here is this woman who has been visioning for a long time, who has kept her mind stayed on spirit, who continues to serve and continues to be open and available to the call of spirit, pulling her forward because she's keeping her mind stayed on spirit. At 81, she is now saving endangered bees and helping change lives in the community where they're doing it. Talk about a world that works for all. Right? She's recognized her own little corner of it and how she can make a difference and how she can show up and be and interact and teach and share and love. Because why are we here, folks? We are here to be the power and the presence of love manifest. That is what our purpose is. We are here to be the power and the presence of love. What is our vision, though? The vision is uniquely how that love is expressing through us. It's uniquely our work. It is uniquely our method. It's uniquely our way of expressing that love, of expressing and being the power and the presence. That's what the vision is. That's what we're aligning ourselves with. That's what we're trying to come into alignment with, so that we can be an even more glorious, more magnificent expression of the divine, expression of love, like our dearly beloved Lupita, working with honeybees that don't have stingers. They're a little bit smaller than a fly, evidently. Like, cool. Who knew? Because she's keeping her mind stayed on spirit. And something else she shared with us that I absolutely loved. She said, in my accumulated youth. I'm like, I like this. Now at 54, I'm like, accumulated youth. I like this. Maybe when I was 30, I was like, what? But no, at 54, I was like, accumulated youth. I like this. I like this, Lupita. And I said, then we asked Lupita, I said, so tell us more about this accumulated youth. How did you accumulate this youth? How are you, what does this mean, accumulating youth? And she responded, through service. Through being of service. This is how I accumulate my youth. This is how, over the years, I've continued to accumulate youth. By being open to spirit, by listening and being available to spirit, by keeping my mind stayed on spirit, and doing the work that is put before me, being of service in the way that I'm called to be of service, doing the work that has been put before me, and recognizing that it is not me, but it is the spirit within me that is doing the work. So whatever the task is, spirit has placed it there, but whatever the task is, spirit is also doing it through me, as me, using my hands, using my feet, using my mind, using my body, using my resources. Spirit is doing that. And that's how I've accumulated my youth. I was like, all right, I like that. We can do that. We can totally do that. We have plenty of opportunities here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living for us to accumulate some youth, okay? We can accumulate youth by being a greeter or an usher at the door. I want to thank Mike this morning for holding down that position today. He's out there by himself in the lobby, saying hi to everybody, making sure everybody is here and present, and being the warm face, the welcoming face. So we can accumulate youth by stepping into that kind of a role. We can accumulate youth by helping out with the buildings and grounds, helping out with the building and grounds. Yesterday, Walking the Path Spirit Group, and along with Shawnee, helped clean up the Bonaminio Garden again, helped kind of get that space nice and clean again. And so Shawnee is forming a team to help maintain the different spaces of our building and grounds. So consider accumulating youth there. If you are a member of the center and you contribute regularly and you've already had foundations, consider accumulating your youth through the core council. There's many, many ways. You want to see words back up on these screens? Consider accumulating youth by volunteering to take that on. Consider accumulating your youth. All the while keeping your mind stayed on spirit. Keeping your mind stayed on spirit. And so how do we keep our mind stayed on spirit on a regular basis? How do we keep our mind on spirit when we move and feel like we're getting blown around? How do we keep our mind stayed on spirit? Well, one of the greatest ways that I know is by practicing the presence. Practicing the presence. So what does that mean? It kind of goes a little bit beyond mindfulness, and that you use things in your daily life to trigger or to keep in mind, keeping your mind on spirit. So what do I mean by that? So how about when we wake up in the morning, before we even get out of bed, once you're like aware that you're awake, you say thank you. Right? How about once you're aware you're awake, it's like, thank you. Another day. Yes. Right? How about before we eat, anytime before we eat, we think, spirit is the spiritual substance of this food. Spirit is maintaining and sustaining its beloved creation. Spirit is withholding nothing from me. Spirit has already provided and continues to provide. How about we think about that as we're getting ready to eat? How about before we walk through any door, we think, and we remind ourselves, keeping our mind stayed on spirit, how about before we walk through any door, that spirit goes before me and prepares the way? And spirit is the love that greets me on the other side of the door. And then when I walk through the door, remember, and spirit stays behind me as a blessing as well. How about when we get in our cars or get in any kind of a vehicle, that we remind ourselves that spirit is the mind of every driver on the road. I know that one's hard. I know that one's hard. But how about if we remind ourselves that spirit is the mind of every person on the road? How about like what I just said with Lupita, when we go to work or we start to perform some kind of a task, that we remember, oh yeah, Spirit gave me this to do. And it is not me that's doing it, it's the presence of Spirit within me that's doing it. So the work itself is the work of the divine. So then what do I need to worry about? What do I need to be concerned about? Do I need to worry that it's going to get done? I know it's going to get done because where is my mind? Stayed on Spirit. How about before we go to bed, we take another moment and just, again, thank you. Like the song, thank you for this day, Spirit. Right? This healing day. It's keeping our mind stayed on Spirit. And as Ed mentioned, as Ed spoke in his invocation, it's keeping our mind stayed there day after day, moment after moment, time after time, activity after activity, breath after breath, heartbeat after heartbeat. And this is what it means to be praying without ceasing. Because when we keep our mind stayed on Spirit, whatever is happening is going to happen. It unfolds under grace and in perfect ways, and we are centered in Spirit. We're not being pulled off. We're not being distracted. We're not being pulled away from. We're not falling out of alignment with the high idea. And the more that we keep our mind stayed on Spirit, the more we make ourselves available to Spirit, the more we allow ourselves to commune with Spirit, the more we then come into alignment with it. And then we become a greater and greater vessel, a greater vehicle, a greater and clearer transparency through which the divine makes itself known, through which the divine acts in the world, in and through each one of us. And we are in greater alignment with then our call, our vision, our unique way of expressing and being the power and the presence of love on earth. So where are you going to keep your mind today? Stayed where? Do I believe you yet? All right, so I'm going to ask you again. I'm going to ask the folks online. Hey, Leslie, good to see you. Hey, Cisco. So, Leslie, where are you going to keep your mind this morning? Where are you going to keep your mind this week? There you go. Stayed on Spirit. Where are you going to keep your mind this week? Much better. Thank you. All right. So we're going to keep our mind stayed on Spirit. And while we're doing that, how about we accumulate some youth along the way, right? Yes, accumulate the youth. All right. So here we go. I invite all of our practitioners and core council members to please stand and surround the sanctuary. Know that these beloveds are in sacred service. These beloveds are accumulating youth every day through their sacred service to this beloved community. And I want to remind you that after service this morning, both Jeannie and Ed will be in the prayer room just outside the sanctuary doors here, right? By the main entrance doors, the prayer room's right there. So please take advantage of prayer today before you leave here this day. All right, let's come together in consciousness right here and right now. I recognize that there just is this one mind, this one divine mind that is forever expressing itself, fulfilling itself. It is the love intelligence. It is the power and the presence. It is love itself. Forever filling itself, forever expressing itself, forever being, because it is the isness, that is the allness, that is the fullness, that is the one life, the one power, the one presence. It is joy, it is peace, it is harmony, it is divine right order, it is divine right action. And this one continues to express itself through each individualization of itself, through all of creation. And so I recognize that it being all that there is, that God being all that there is, Spirit being all that there is, then there is no other substance from which I could be made. There is no other thing from which I could be made or I could be myself. That I must be an expression, an emanation, an impartation, a manifestation, an embodiment of this one life, an embodiment of this one love, an embodiment of this one power, this one presence. That is the truth of who I am. I am that I am. And as I know that this is true of me, I know that this is true of everyone gathered here this day, that all are one with the one, that there is just this one power, there is just this one presence. that each life is a divine emanation and impartation of the One itself. From the smallest honeybee in Mexico to everyone present here and gathered here this day, each one is the One. A divine, beautiful, magnificent, glorious manifestation and expression of life, of love. And so I speak my word here for this beloved community, recognizing that we are called to a greater yet to be. We are called to a higher idea. We are called to a greater fulfillment of the glory and magnificence of the divine, that we are called to be more open. We are called to be more available. We are called to be a clear transparency through which life, through which love expresses and manifests. Something is greater is calling us forward, and we say yes to that. We willingly give ourselves, we willingly surrender those things that have been in our way up to this moment. We simply allow them to fall back into the nothingness from which they came. We intentionally release them and let them go, giving thanks for their usefulness up to this point. We give gratitude, we express gratitude for them, that up to this point, yes, you've brought me here, and now I am being called further. I am being pulled by the vision. I am being pulled by the high idea of the glorious expression of the power and the presence of love. And so I know that that is true for each one in this community, that we are letting those things go. We continue to walk forward. We continue to move love forward. And we embrace it. We embody it. We be it, and we come to it. We become it. In this day, in this moment, we remember to remember. We remember to keep our minds stayed on Spirit. And as we do, life continues to unfold under grace and in absolute perfect ways, because there is no other way. God's grace is my sufficiency in all things. God maintains and sustains its beloved creation. God withholds nothing. And so I remember. I remember. I remember. And I give thanks for it all. I give thanks for this beloved community. I give thanks for the sacred yes. I give thanks for the vision revealed and the vision that continues to pull. The vision that continues to call us forward. And I release this word now, knowing it is done, knowing it is complete. We simply allow it to be so, and so it is.
Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body. I can feel it in my soul. I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Oh, this love inside wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Oh, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful.
So something wonderful is happening through this congregation right now, through our community right now. And one of the ways something wonderful happens through our community is through our conscious contributions. One of the easiest ways to make your conscious contribution, to accumulate youth, to move forward, to appreciate our expansive spirit, as the way Ed so beautifully said it this morning, is through our conscious contributions. So an easy way to do our conscious contribution is via text to give. Simply text 951-419-5858. Type in the amount you choose to contribute and hit send. It is just that easy. It's just like texting a friend. You can also go to our website, and in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the word contribute. Go ahead and click on there. You can do it that way. You can also mail something in. And for those of you in the room here, there is a beautiful mirrored vessel right back there behind Dorsel that you can make your contribution there as well. Don't forget that we also have Two or More Fund, which goes to supporting the building and grounds. And so that is in addition to or above your regular conscious contributions. And so if you wanted to text that, simply add the word more after the amount you're choosing to contribute, and then you can contribute to Two or More all the same ways that I just mentioned. So I know that our community is accumulating youth, right? I know that our community is moving love forward, and I know that our community is rich in love, rich in joy, and rich in peace. So Jabel and we're going to sing about being so rich. Here we go.
So rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. So rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. So rich, dripping in joy, dripping in peace, dripping in love. We have everything we need. Dripping in joy, dripping in love. We have everything we need. So rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. So rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. Rich, here we go. Dripping in joy, dripping in love. We have everything we need. Dripping in joy, dripping in love. We have everything we need. So rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. So rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. So rich.
All right, so we are rethinking Beyond the Message and how we're going to do Beyond the Message, because 7 o'clock is not working for folks. So that's not going to work. But right after service isn't also working for folks, because a lot of you who have been on Beyond the Message are here, but a lot of people who are for Beyond the Message are also out there. So we're going to have to figure out a way to make it all work. So for the time being, until we can get a solution, and I know that there's a solution, because we're going to keep our mind stayed where? On spirit. So I know that there is an easy solution to this, so that we can all still be in community together, both in person and online. So I just want to let you know that there's that. All right. I think that's it. Michelle, do I have anything else? No, she's shaking her head no, I guess. All right. So I invite everybody to stand and repeat after me. Here we go. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called love. Love is in my mind.
Love is in my mind.
Love is in my body. Love is in everything I do.
Love is in everything I do.
I am it.
I am it.
I share it.
I share it.
I move it forward.
Move it forward.
And I receive it because let's sing our love out into the world. Here we go.
I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. You can sing, I promise. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. Woo! Good singing, y'all. Thank you. 2, 3, 4. Love.